trying to revamp this wreath that I made last year so that it matches my garland this year. As you can see, I've already got some flowers in this, but I will need to add more and some other little bits and bobs inside, which I'll show you. I'll also show you what I used and how I used it, and I will also be showing you how to make two very simple door wreaths with faux flowers. First I want to show you what I started with. Okay, if I turn it over, you'll see it's not actually a wreath at all. It's a wicker basket, a heart-shaped big wicker basket that I purchased. I think I purchased it from the range last year. And I bought it for in my caravan and didn't use it. And then I had started to make a wreath and realised that this could work. And I decided to put a little branch in there, a little scene basically, a little branch with a bird nest and eggs. I've taken the eggs out because they perished last year. These are the wires I'm using. Apart from one, I have got a very thin gold wire that I've used, and that's almost gone. Basically, we've got the stiff wires, which are useful for supporting flowers. You can run these through the middle of a flower and bend the top over and insert it into your wreath and hide the wire, just secure it, use it to secure to the wreath itself. Then you've got a wrapping wire, which is good if you're doing a long garland and you're tying flowers in, because you can wrap that around the garland and around the flowers and it will hold them in place. And then I've got a similar thing but slightly stiffer. Now I'm going to be probably using this one a bit more today to secure these other flowers in. As this wire is not very thick, I'm going to use an old pair of my scissors to cut it with. And we'll set about putting some roses into here. We need some lilac put in, as I said. When I started this wreath, I initially used a piece of garland, which is a bendable garland, quite a nice quality one. I just took the end piece from it, about 3 feet, maybe less. I wrapped it around here, as you can see. It's wrapped around and wired, you see? And then I just formed the flowers that were on it into the shape of the actual heart, and I put some bits of faux greenery in as well, some eucalyptus, which was actually little offcuts of a garland from Shein, so I put those in with it. You can use faux greenery to fill in any gaps. It's important I don't lose the shape of the heart, so I don't want to put too much in. I'm just going to add a few flowers in and I'll show you how I do that. First off, try your flowers in and see how they look in place before you fix them. So I'm pushing them down the garland main stem just so that I can see how they sit. That looks quite nice. May need to pull them down a bit. Yeah, I think that's about right. That's quite nice to have it like that. So let's see where that end goes to. And I'm just going to push it under there. And I need to just fasten this in with wire. I'm actually going to use this one. It's quite secure, so I'm just going to hold it with this finer wire. We've always said I was going to use the fatter one. I think this one will be fine. Right, I'm just going to tie it in. Just twist it. And then that can be snipped off. It used to be on top of here. And that's not quite tight enough. We'll just pull it a bit tighter. Now just arrange your other flowers that are quite bendable. Just arrange those around. I'm going to put another lilac flower here. Let's just position it and see what it looks like. Just where there's a gap. Yes, that's fine. And you see the stem comes through this side, so I'm going to push it back in. And bend it back. I don't think I'm going to need to wire that one at all. You'll see how this stem is the wrong way, or this leaf, sorry. Just going to twist, make it a bit better a view. You just arrange your flowers a bit, just twist them around. If your flowers haven't got wires like mine, you might need to just secure them in place exactly where you want them with wire. Right, we need to do this other side the same. So we've got lilac there, and we want lilac this side as well. Push them in to see where you want them, the most pleasing kind of shape. This is just one lilac rose on this one. So I'll probably add another one. Now push that through. I'm going to have to wire that one in. The stem's gone down here, but it needs to be wired. You'll see it's quite easily cut with the scissors. I have got wire cutters, but I tend to use my scissors, if these old scissors, quite a lot. I keep my wire cutters for my sculptures. I have done a couple of wire sculptures. Okay, that's nice. I think we need another one in there. There's the other side. Just fit them in to wear so that they look nicely. That's going to need wiring. It's gone down there. The stem has gone down this main stem very easily, but obviously it can come out very easily. It's like that, so you do need to just wire it in. So we go through with this kind of medium wire, cut a piece off. And I'll go through and twist that. As I said, just in through one of the holes. It's best if you can kind of position the wire a bit further back than the head, so that you can still kind of manipulate the head to move a little bit into whatever position that you want it. just want to secure my bird and the eggs. I'm going to hot glue the eggs in place. The other egg in place, a tiny dot of glue. Better than Cadbury eggs anyway. Just need to put my bird in place. I'm putting the wire through his toes, under and over, to wire him onto the branch. Turning him a little as well. Okay, I want him on a bit more of an angle. So I'm going to just adjust that slightly. You see, I've fixed a little needle felted butterfly here. Last year I had this up in the garland. It's not the best example of a cabbage white butterfly, but it gives a nice little bit of dimension into the wreath. And I've got another couple of choices as well. So I've got these that kind of clip on, which can kind of clip on, and I've got this one which is on a magnet, but you can kind of remove that and attach it underneath a leaf, but I think I'm going to stick with that. This is where I want to attach it to the door. You'll see I've got a circular area in the middle and I want that to fit in there, so I haven't got a lot of room for a bow. I think the bow will just detract a bit, so we'll just see what I do next. Okay, I've got my little loop. I'm putting a short piece of ribbon through there and I'm folding the ends in, and I'm going to hot glue them together so that I can then make this ribbon stable. The glue will kind of make it stronger, stop it from tearing, and then I'll just make a little cut there so that I can put the hook on the door through that, and I may put a little bow that sits over the top of it. I'm just going to glue this. Just need to make this stable so that you can make a little slit without it coming apart. That's it. And I can make a slit in the centre of there. Let's just find the centre. Just to fit the hook. Then I'll look at what it looks like. Just going to make a small bow on the door. Fold the ribbon in half. I like to use wired ribbon where I can, but this one isn't wired. Wired ribbon holds its shape better. Just fold it in. Tiny bit of overlap. I only want a small bow. It is a bit wide for it really, but ribbon. Wind the wire around it. just a small little bow. Just wanted to cover the wire at the back and the loop. I'm just going to make a little loop on the back to fasten it onto the door. Okay, I've got my little bow. Just put that onto the door. And I just want to tuck it underneath, tuck the wire a bit underneath there. That's it. I'll just tighten that wire up. That's it, perfect. That's fixed in place. This is the completed wreath. I'm going to show you how to do a simple wreath. This wicker wreath base costs 50p from a charity shop. I wouldn't normally leave that string on. I'd normally take it off if I was using it, and I'd probably tie some ribbon around here and a bow. But you can do it different ways. Simple wreath, put a fancy bow, 3 different types of ribbon, and wrap them all together. Just do exactly what I did before with a little bow. Over like that, over again, 3 of them, and wrap wire around. And that's it. Fasten that on with wire, and you've got a very simple bow. This is 3 different types of ribbon this one's made up of. Ideally, I like ribbon with wire edging, but and this one has got a wire edging. I used it earlier and didn't think it had got wire in it, but it has. And it just means you can form your bow and it will stay in a bow. This one's also got a wire edging, but it's very soft wire. And basically a bow. You could do, for Christmas, you could do this as a red velvet bow. Instead of flowers, some simple berries in here. And instead of this, I would continue this green up as a loop around, and and up, and perhaps a tiny bow on the top. Alternatively, something like this that I bought for my garland outside. I think they were about 30p each from Shein. You can see the look. I'm not going to cut it off, but you would cut it off, push it through the wire there, and just wire it. Bend it into the shape, and that is on its own a simple wreath. Then you make a ribbon to go with it. Got some lemon ribbon here, which I'm just using to echo the little bits of lemon right in the centre of here. I would take this up. I'll try it against my door to see where the hook is, to get it the right length. Now you can tie it off with a bit of ribbon or with a bit of wire. It's going to be hidden anyway. You can make a loop at the back with the wire. And then form your bows with this. I'm going to go like this. You can put another layer through if you want to. There are various ways of doing bows. just wire it. I might use a bit of ribbon. All I'll do, cut the ribbon through, cut it in half and wrap it around. In through there, double knot, and arrange your bow. You see where the wire comes in nicely? You can just mould this to what you want. What starts out looking a mess ends up as a nice little bow that can hang up on your door. Just arrange this down the side and you've got a simple little wreath. Another simple way of doing a wreath is to wire some greenery, which you can put it at the bottom, the little rose there if you want, or you can do a little piece on the side. I'll do one at the side just to show you. You start wiring. You could do this with fresh flowers as well. I tend to run the leaves one way and then the other at the bottom, like this. Then we're going to have a rose in here. Then you want one this way, then run one the other way, kind of poke it under there, and your leaves at the end, and then you want something in the middle as well. Just go around and put the leaves in underneath first. Just a very quick demonstration. You take a lot longer. Pull it tight, and then you want a little bit of something in the centre here. I'd probably fill that in with a little bit of greenery there and wire this one into the centre. Odd numbers of flowers are better than even numbers aesthetically. It just look that much better to have 3 or 5 or 7 roses than 2 or 4 or 6. But you get the idea. And there, although this doesn't particularly go, you probably want a lilac-y wreath rather than that. But there you are, another very simple wreath. You could put a bit more greenery in than this, than I've got in here. It's I want to take a little bit more time over it, and I would put more wire there just to let those leaves curl around with the arch of the heart. A little bit more greenery in the middle, and probably a little bit of this, the tiny flowers. This is loose, it needs tightening up, but obviously I'm not keeping this wreath intact. I've just done this just to show you how to make it. Wicker wreath frames are really good. I like them because you can show part of the wicker, whereas if you had a moss wreath, you really want to cover the moss. Mainly you cover it with leaves and things. Christmas time you might want to use a moss wreath particularly. I like wicker the wicker frames a lot. I have even made wreaths from, you know, the heart-shaped oasis. Also, if you do use a fresh oasis, with fresh flowers. You know, you can take them down, water them, let them, you know, dry the back of them off, and then hang them back on your door.